Hello and welcome to another accounting tutorial where today I'll be running you through the statement of financial position for a sole trader. So it's worth noting from the start that you'll more than likely still hear the statement of financial position referred to as the balance sheet from those who've been in the trade for a while. Now they are referring to the same thing, and although this terminology change to the International Accounting Standards actually came in 2007, it still hasn't yet died out. So just something to remember that if someone mentions the balance sheet, they're referring to the statement of financial position. Now that we've got that out of the way, first off, we need to answer the question, what is the statement of financial position? Well, a business's worth in the most simplistic terms is determined by its assets and liabilities, i.e. what the business owns versus what the business owes. The difference between these two is known as equity, and if you were to sell off all your assets and pay off all your liabilities, you'd be left with the amount that will be returned to the owner of the business. The statement of financial position is the financial report that shows all of this information at a given point in time. You may hear it described as a snapshot of the business's financial position at a certain date. What does it show then? So we've already said the statement of financial position shows the business's assets and liabilities, but within the report these will be split out between non-current and current assets, current and non-current liabilities. Non-current assets are the assets that the business would expect to have ownership or control over for at least a 12-month period. They should also bring the business some form of financial gain, whether that be directly used to generate money, or it could be that they save the business money. Examples could include IT equipment, vehicles, or buildings. Now, current assets are assets that the business expects to use within a 12-month period. They are generally considered to be more liquid, i.e. more easily converted to cash. Examples could include inventory, trade receivables, money in the bank, and physical cash. We then have current liabilities. These are amounts owed by the business that would be expected to be paid within the next 12 months. Examples could include trade payables, VAT owed, overdrafts, and accrued expenses. Now, non-current liabilities are amounts that are expected to be paid beyond 12 months. Examples could be long-term loans or mortgages. The last section within the statement of financial position is the finance by section. This shows the capital account balance at the end of the year. This is the amount owed from the business back to the owner. The difference between your assets and liabilities should always equal the same amount as your closing balance on your capital account. This is in line with the accounting equation assets minus liabilities equals capital. I'll be referring back to this within our example. How is it used then? You may or may not have heard of the term financial stability. Now, it's completely feasible for a business to make a loss in the financial year. This could be down to a number of reasons and may not cause any major concerns. However, having a negative statement of financial position, i.e. if the business has liabilities higher than its assets, that's a far greater concern. And this comes back to financial stability, because if a business can't cover its debts without finding another source of funding, it probably isn't long for this world. The statement of financial position therefore enables us to view the stability of the business. One of the first things I'll look for when investing in stocks is the business's statement of financial position. If it's not in a good position, then it's an instant no. Let's now dive into how it is prepared, but before we do, it's worth saying that with most electronic accounting systems, the statement of financial position can easily be produced with a click of a button, because it will be one of the predefined reports within the system. However, it's still really important to be able to prepare this yourself so that you can check it properly, because without being able to produce one yourself, how can you really check it for errors? So we'll be preparing this based upon a trial balance. I would expect at this stage you are aware of the trial balance, but if you're not, please do go watch my video where I explain what it is and how it's prepared. I'll leave a link in the description below for those who want to go watch that. Okay then, Tracy runs a successful distribution business. You have been provided with the following trial balance. Prepare the statement of financial position based upon the figures given. Let's first identify the assets, liabilities, and capital. So all non-current assets have been highlighted in green, current assets in yellow, current liabilities in red, non-current liabilities in orange, and all transactions regarding the capital account are highlighted in blue. What we need to do now is set up the format, or at least the scaffolding for the format, so that we can enter in our information. So as I mentioned previously, we start with our non-current assets, followed by our current assets. We then show the business as current liabilities. Now at this point, it's good practice to calculate the net current assets. This is simply our current assets minus our current liabilities. If this figure is negative, it's quite the concern, because what we'd be saying is that our short-term assets won't cover our short-term debt. After this has been calculated, we show the non-current liabilities, and from here we can calculate the net assets figure. This is the total assets of the business, i.e. including non-current and current, minus all the liabilities. So again, current and non-current. Now the last section is the finance by, and this will record our opening capital, the profit or loss for the year, any drawings taken from the business by the owner, and then the closing capital figure. As I stated earlier, the net assets figure and the finance by figure should equal. Let's firstly populate our account names by entering in each into their relevant category. From here, we can start entering in our figures. Any account balances will go on the left and the total figures on the right. Let's start with the non-current assets. The figures recorded for these need to be the net book values, i.e. what the asset is worth in our accounts. To calculate this, we need to do the cost less any accumulated depreciation. For machinery, this gives us 46,720, and for motor vehicles, 18,630. And we need to enter the total of these two just underneath. Moving on to the current assets, let's enter in all the figures relating to these. What's important to note on this one is that to get to your trade receivables figure, remember that we need to do the trade receivables balance less the allowance for doubtful receivables figure. Also, just make sure you total all of these up just underneath. We then enter in our figures for the current liabilities, and again the total for these. The next calculation is the net current assets, which, remember, to calculate this we do the total current assets figure minus the total current liabilities figure. That gives the business net current assets of 41,460. We then add in our non-current liabilities. Then the net assets figure is our total assets minus total liabilities, giving us 96,810. The final part to populate is our finance by section. Let's fill out our opening capital. The profit for the year in this scenario is being calculated as 16,010, and you could actually calculate this yourself if you wanted to draw out the profit or loss, but that is definitely a separate video. We have drawings of 29,200, and we can then calculate the closing capital by doing the opening capital plus the profit minus the drawings. And we can see from this that both our finance by section and net assets figure are equal. And that concludes this example and the end of this video. I hope you found it useful, and remember, if you have, to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more accounting videos. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.